stand up for a second. He's my liaison guy. There are a lot of liaison guys, but he's one been around a long time. Contact him, get in touch. Paul Backstrom in the back. Paul, just come here for a quick second, so I can see you. Let me tell you about Paul. When you know, you move on and this and that. When I was interviewing Paul for a job with my office, how long was it? A little over a year. He told me he was a bicycle man. I said, yes. And he also said, and I'm into public transportation. I said, yes. So you mean you barely drive your car around? He said, yes. Yes. Because I really believe that we're in a new day. And for me to actually be in a new day, I need a staff person that is living in the new day and considers bicycling and considers public transportation the only way to go. Now, you can't do it all the time because he has to go to certain places where he has to get in the car and drive. But he does this with bicycling more than anybody else. Every time I go by his office, I see his bicycle there. And sometimes the door's closed because he's changing from this to that. But he's a genuine cyclist, okay? So I wanted a genuine cyclist tied with me as I took over chair of transportation. When I first got into this, it was just by the reality of a sad story in Mandeville Canyon. When a homeowner came out of his place and got himself into a state of whatever. He ended up getting convicted. He lost his medical license, and I don't know where he is. But there were two cyclists that were quite hurt by what looked like an intentional action on his part. And that's when I realized about the bicycle rights. People in the car culture don't realize that a bicyclist, a cyclist, has rights, and that the lane is everybody's lane. And to say, get the hell out of my way and push a cyclist to the side or make it so difficult that when they're cycling somebody opens a door and nails them. I mean, this is outrageous, but the other side of the same coin is, as recently as yesterday, I saw a bicyclist go right through a stop sign as if it didn't exist. I saw another one go right through a red light as if it didn't exist. And then I turned one corner at one point because I was somewhat lost, and I almost hit a cyclist because they came out of nowhere too. So everybody's got to be sensitive to everybody else at the same time. And I think if we can make the right lanes and markings and signage, we can go a long way. The other day I was up in Mandeville Canyon again, and homeowners started screaming to me about cyclists. What's the problem? Give me a break. And they talk about going beyond the speed limit and racing by them, and you need to put a sign at the top of Mandeville Canyon what the rules of the road is for the cyclist. And of course I'm saying back to her with great politeness, you have to realize cyclists have rights too. And so the constant discussion about the road is going to only get more intense in the years ahead. Why? Because if we don't go to cycling, the air we breathe and the reality of our lungs is a very serious issue. The more we bicycle, the healthier we can become by natural cycling. And if we have safe routes, and one of the goals I have is to get as many safe routes from everywhere as quickly as possible. We now fortunately have a Measure 10, which is funding from ourselves, and we're demanding that a good piece of that money go to the cycling community, to a master plan, to the actual putting the gyros on there, painting the things, putting up those stalls everywhere so people can put their cycles, be it near a metro stop or be it in an area where people love to go eat, things like that. It should be as common as a parking lot is to a car, a place for a person to put their bike. And then guys like me, who are awkward and old, relatively, 65, I would like to get on. I used to grow up with a bicycle, and I was one of those kids, I didn't even use the wheels, I just did it and had a blast and bent around like that, I had a blast on the cycle. Now I'm a little nervous, I'm falling apart and all that, but I do want to find some safe routes for me too, so that I can do it for fun and also maybe do it as a way to get downtown, if I could do that, or to my West LA office or my Mar Vista office. So I really believe in cycling, and now I'm chair of this committee, and I want to do whatever I can in that committee to accelerate our planet. I like the fact we're doing these outreaches right now. Be as creative and as independent and as impactful as your energy allows. And I would urge it to keep going in that direction. There are no magic answers. Many of you have been all over the world. I can just go down to Long Beach and look at a better setup there. And of course you can go to you know, places like the Netherlands, and everybody's on a bicycle, or go over to Asia, and you'll see a lot of cyclists everywhere. So it's late in coming here, but Los Angeles, geography-wise, weather-wise, is a perfect place for cycling. So I want to thank you for coming here. This is about your sensibilities as to what makes sense. You heard Ken Bernstein, a great planner and a great leader in this community, talk about the steps. It will go through a couple more public hearings. It'll come to committees. It'll end up going through Plum, and then it'll end up coming before my transportation committee. Again, the goal is to make this a bicycle-friendly, engaged city. The goal is to live the Bicycle Bill of Rights. I have done some work with the chief of police. When I first got on, I heard all kinds of police issues about police being a problem rather than a help. And 5 or 6 meetings have taken place with him, and I understand for the most part there's a good understanding and relationship. He put some big shot cop on the 10th floor or 8th floor, whatever they call it, the direct access to him, so it isn't pushed down into some tertiary role. And he himself took a meeting that I set up where he listened for a couple of hours and interacted with people. So I want, obviously, the policing to be there to police and protect cyclists. Never do I want to see a hit and run or some of the other issues. That thing we're looking at with the state. Explain that real quickly again.
Anti-harassment ordinance.
Yes. Right. Explain how that would work.
Well, 3-foot law is sponsored at the state level to carry legislation to change the vehicle code to create a 3-foot passing law that would require motorists to provide cyclists a minimum of 3-foot distance when they pass. The details is where it becomes a little bit more challenging.
I can't actually hear you back here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My voice is a little dry. The details of what a 3-foot passing law would entail would have to be crafted by the author and more narrowly defined. We're also working with the city attorney on creating a private cause of action for cyclists so that there would be some civil recourse if a cyclist is hit by a motorist. And that gets into more of a complicated issue that, not being an attorney, I cannot explain here, but it is something in transportation. We will be taking this up in Transportation Committee this month. In October, we'll be taking up that matter as well. And it will likely be on October 27th. I believe it's our last meeting in October.
Okay, I just wanted you to meet him, hear that, just as an opening. Dream your wildest dreams, think out of the box, be clear about where you want to go with this, because it's your city, it's your area, and the more bicycle-friendly we become, the more actually we do things by creating bike lanes, the happier I'm going to be. And as a guy downtown, if there's anything I can do as chair of this committee, I want to do it to make us a better city with bicycles. So thank you all for coming. Have a good meeting tonight.